Hey everybody, it's Greg, Detroit's Love Guru, coming to you live like I do every Wednesday at noon with the Art of Relationship show. Now, this is probably going to be one of the most, I'm not going to say, well, we'll say most important issues I run into in relationships. And I'm going to be honest, it tends to be more women than men, but we're going to talk about potentials that you see in the dating realm, in new relationships and marriages, and what problems these create down the road for you. So pay attention and think about, have you ever had potentials for somebody and you're always waiting for them to meet them? Okay. So pay attention. We'll be right back with the Art of Relationship show right after this. Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's Greg, and going to be talking about potentials. And as always, you can join in, on YouTube, on Facebook. You can join in the chat down below. Enter your comments. I love to hear them, and I'll try to, get back to you, add little comments back and forth in the chat. And it's hard for me to do, let's face it, two things at once to do the show and try to read and text. Chat everybody. Hey, Amanda, I appreciate you joining. And now with potentials, if you think about how many people have had potentials of somebody, I think we're all guilty of it. Let's be honest. Okay. And I see this more readily with women than I do with men, but it still exists in us men as well. Right. So we look at, and I tell people, you know what, Greg, he had so much potential. I hear this from so many women. I can tell you literally on a daily basis, people in my office on a daily basis, I hear this. Greg, he had so much potential to do this, to do that, to become this, to change this, right? And it creates a lot of problems down the road, right? And with potentials in people, we need to ask, number one, let's get it out there, right? Number one, do they even want the same potential that you see in him or her? Okay. Do they even see that potential? Number two, do they even want to try to go after that potential, right? You might think that, we'll throw this up there, that they want to make more money. Okay. We'll throw that out there. And you see so much potential, but number one, do they care about making more money? Do they care about having a different job? That type of situation. Maybe they don't. Maybe you see this and they don't even care about that potential number, and it's wrong for you to assume that this person wants to have a certain potential. And I'm going to run down a whole list that I run into, and I don't come up with these. I've seen them, heard them in my office, in sessions, talking to various people, even friends, that run into this. Greg, she had so much potential to be a great mom. He had so much potential to be a great father, all this stuff. And number one, are you asking that person, hey, this is what I'm looking for. I'd love it for you to be happier in your job or to make more money. And I ask people, is that for your benefit that they make more money, or is it for their benefit? You get me? Oh, we can have this dream life. We can be this power couple, right? How many people have heard that term before? Oh, we could have been so much of a power couple. And this comes from men, women, all over the place about their ideation about what the potential, what they see as a vision. And I've talked about this before about having expectations, but a lot of people don't share them. And you need to ask people, do you want this in your life? What do you want in your life? And I'm not talking about, BSing anybody. I'm not talking about like, oh yeah, I want this. And their potential to be 6 foot tall, it ain't gonna happen, right? I'm 5'6", I'm honest about it. I own it, right? I'm a short dude. So what? So I look at these elements to be able to, things that we can change. Can we? Number one, do we want that? I want that opportunity to say, yeah, this is what I want. And that doesn't mean it's going to happen, right? I could try, but number one, Are we asking our partner or potential partners about what they want in life, how they want to live? And again, I'm all about being honest. I'm all about being open and honest and legit and transparent with what we want. And that doesn't mean when we're 20 years old that we're going to want the same thing for the rest of our life, right? Some things we might want, some things we don't care about anymore when we're 30, when we're 40, as we did when we're 20. So, let me run down some lists. And Amanda mentioned, or how about they had so much potential to be great at sex? Oh my God. I mean, this is this is one that I run all over the place from men and women. Oh my God, Greg, look at that body. Look at her. She's hot. Oh my God, look at all those look at all those message. Look at his body. And he just flipping his head all over the place and nothing else is going on, right? So that is a good one, okay? To be, a great lover, great at sex. And number one, are you able to, do you ask them, what? And how many people think they're great at sex, but they're really not? Or maybe they're great at sex with their prior partner, but with the new partner, they feel, what? You think you're great at sex, right? But let's face it, you have two different needs, two different, maybe expectations or about pleasure principles when it comes to sex, right? Are you talking about it? Hey, this is what I'm into. Hey, do you like this? Do you think you would like this? Maybe, maybe not. At least give that person an option to answer to what you feel is a potential in a current partner, right? Another one, let's face it, I hear this often, okay? Greg, he has so much potential, or she has so much potential to get clean, to get sober, to stop drugs, to stop drinking so much. This is a huge issue, I run into and I have for over the years, and I don't put it out there. I don't work with substance abuse on an individual basis, but let's face it, it cuts across, relationships, marriages, family dynamics as well. So I'm always running into it. And looking at, do they even want to stop the drugs, and what are they doing, or drinking in excess, or what are they doing to help themselves? You might see potential. Yeah, I'm going to be supportive. I'm going to be supportive and make sure they get the help, make sure they get, go maybe to AA, NA, or, therapy to get help, a substance abuse counselor. But are you even asking them, do they even want to stop? Or are they lying to you? I'm all about, right? You might see potential in them, and they might want to measure up to that potential or come close to it. But let's face it, is it just lip service? Is it just action? Or are their actions are lacking? I'm sorry about that. Is it just words? Is it just lip service? Or are they doing those things to back it up? Okay. And, or are they just telling you what you want to hear because they don't want to lose you? They don't want to, lose your love, your affection, that type of aspect. And, going back to Amanda, when it comes to sex, you know what? Some people don't like oral sex, or they like receiving oral sex, but they don't like giving oral sex. And I'm like, that's sort of selfish, right? Oh, was I judgmental there? Maybe. But looking at, and you're assuming, oh, one day they're going to start loving it. One day they're going to start loving it. What if they don't? You need to look at how a person is now in the present tense. And if that doesn't change, are you okay with that? You want somebody that might be more open, more depth about talking about anything and everything, right? And you're hoping that will change one day, and it doesn't. And it's just a matter of time before that tolerance, man, I can't do this anymore. I thought it would change, but it doesn't. And number one, whose fault is that? Is that your fault for being, thinking they have potential? But number two, do they want to? And they even, are they willing to try? That's a big thing. Is it our fault or our responsibility? And I'm not into getting into faults, blame, not at all. I'm looking at taking responsibility. Or is it our responsibility to assume that our partner, new partner, past partners, whatever, have so much, potential? Is it our responsibility for thinking that without even talking to them? Or, we assume it's going to change, and it doesn't. And again, what? We have to start looking at, number one, I repeat myself, right? do they want that same potential, and are they willing to go after it? So it's very, very difficult to look at those situations. Hey, Jennifer, I appreciate you tuning in, and Ruby, I appreciate you guys, guys and ladies, tuning in big time. Having expectations will only crush you in the end, unfortunately. And Jennifer, I'm all about having expectations. I'm huge on expectations, but you better be able to be open and clarify what those expectations are to each other. And that's where that potential comes in. I see so much potential in us being a great couple and being this way, being, highly sexual, loving oral sex, having sex 2, 3, 4 times a day, right? Or, being a power couple, whatever that means for people, to become more affectionate, to be able to talk about anything. I'm huge on expectations. But the problem with expectations is a lot of people, men, women, let's face it, both people, they don't talk openly about them, or you run into problems where one person, yeah, I want the same thing and all this, and they're lying to you. They're just telling you what you want to hear. So that's where it comes down to potentials. Are you even talking about what you want when it comes into expectations? And are you assuming it's always going to change to meet your expectations? But it doesn't. So I tell people that's on us if we are not communicating that, or even if we are communicating that and that person, our partner, doesn't want that, or that's just not them, that's our responsibility. You know what? Do we keep hoping it's going to change? And it won't change. Okay. So it's one of those situations about, looking at, are those expectations or potentials, let's face it, being discussed openly? Are they talked about? Are they shared? So, we can look at, potentials in others. And I mentioned, oh yeah, I'm thinking, what? They wanted to go to college and finish their degree. So are they going to go back to college, become more educated? Oh, you got so much potential to do that. Do they even want that? A better job. How many people have said that before, right? Oh, I wish you had a better job. I wish you'd be more happier in a job. What if they are okay with that? Again, are these expectations about how you want to live because it's your own embarrassment that you can brag about your partner is making this much money or has this certain job, right? Oh, they're a nurse and they want to become a doctor or whatever it is. Okay. Maybe they have a factory warehouse job and, oh yeah, I can't say that. I'm sort of embarrassed about that. But you know what? One day they're going to become a supervisor or manager and they're looking at you like, what? I never want that. You get me? So we have to look at those potentials and being able to talk about those elements and being able to look at, I'm just doing a little text here. Sorry. And, looking at those aspects. What about, this tends to be an important one I run into as well with men and women all over the place. Okay. Oh, he or she might be a little overweight. Okay. Whatever that means to people. Okay. It's not my determination. It's everybody's out there. Okay. So, they're a little overweight. So they have so much potential to lose that weight and become, maybe more fit, more whatever, physically sexy, whatever that means. Right. And, now are you even thinking that? Do they even care about their body image? Maybe not. Maybe they're happy being the way they are and they own that, which is great. Again, are you able to talk about it? Are you able to, someone, oh, you know what? I'm into exercise. I want someone that loves working out, every day of the week type of thing. And you're assuming, your partner, you love that partner, you like them. Oh, again, so much potential. They're going to start loving working out. If they really love me, they're going to love working out as much as I do. And you're like, when it don't happen, then you're pissed off. You're hurt. You're upset. Oh my God, you didn't meet my potential. You didn't meet my expectations. But are you talking to them? Are you given that opportunity to say, yes, I want this. No, I don't want this. And about being open and honest. Okay. We mentioned, I know Amanda mentioned this, that how many people, man, I thought one day you would become more affectionate. you'd become more open sexually. You would love walking around the house naked type of thing. I would love that, that you become more caring, compassionate, more empathic, right? That you have more empathy. And one day you have so much potential to be that. What if they could care less about that? And this is when I say about potentials can cause problems in relationships, right? And the one thing that I tend to, see and hear on a regular basis is the only thing that changes with potentials is the tolerance for them. And the tolerance lessens or ends, right? Oh, you know what? I'm so sick of 10 years, 20 years that I thought you would become more affectionate. And they're looking like, what? You knew I wasn't affectionate when we met. Do you understand that? And how many people have been there? I thought one day you would love oral sex, or you would love me giving you oral sex. What? I told you I don't like that. So is it our fault, our responsibility for keeping the assumptions and keeping the potentials alive when, you know what, we're not giving that other person that responsibility, okay? With eating healthy, right? I thought we would eat healthy together, right? And the other person, like, I could care less about that. One person, is maybe you're both meat eaters and you want to become a vegetarian, and you're assuming your partner has the potential to become a vegetarian. Are you even asking them? You know why? And again, these might not be a big issue to you, to me. It's not up to me to decide what a big issue is. It's up to you in your own relationship, but to be able to talk about that, right? Oh my God, when we were younger, we used to party all the time and, party, drink a lot, party, be out, go to raves, whatever, right? And all of a sudden, 5 years later, I'm an adult now. I don't want to do this anymore. And you're assuming your partner wanted the same thing. Oh, we would become an adult now and not be into that. And they never grow out of it. Or maybe they never want to change that element. And again, you're assuming how things should be according to your own expectations. Or are you even giving them a chance and opportunity to answer? Or are you afraid? Let's face it. You know what? Or are you afraid that they will say, no, I don't want this? And then you're going to feel brokenhearted. I get it. Big time. You're going to feel alone. You're going to feel like, oh, now what, right? I have to start over. All these stuff. Instead, you're trying to, force feed these potentials down somebody else's throat. And if they say, no, this is me, are you believing in that? Now, are you making decisions about what do you do with your life? And, that's where the guilt and the shame and all those elements come in, right? This one, I've run into this a lot, big time too, as far as, one person wants kids and the other one doesn't. Okay. And you're assuming, oh, they got a great potential to be a great father, a great mother. I brought this up at the beginning of this episode. And number one, do they want kids? I just assumed everybody wants kids or everybody doesn't want kids, and you're assuming that will change, or they'll have that potential. Oh, one day they'll want kids. What? No, I don't. That won't ever change. And a year goes by, 2 years, 5 years go by, and you're like, oh, I'm ready to have kids. Well, I told you I don't want kids. That is a huge issue. And a lot of these potentials can be deal breakers for you. They can be deal breakers for your partner. And are you able to go after that? Okay. Think of potentials you have in partner. You know what? I want someone that loves to travel, and you're with somebody that hates to travel, and you're assuming they will love to travel. Or maybe they're a homebody and you love to travel, do a bunch of stuff, and their potential is, oh, you're not going to like travel anymore. You're going to become more of a homebody, and you're not. These are issues when I talk about compatibility aspects and chemistries on these levels, and talking about the expectations that you have in potentials. And that's where I run into, that's why I titled this, Potentials Can Be Trouble in Relationships, if you are not talking about them, or you're assuming you are talking about them and being open, and your partner says one thing and you are hoping it will change. I have been there, people. I'm honest, I have been there hoping it would change and be better, or, we'd go back to the way it was, or that type of situation. But then we got to come down and do a gut check and a reality check that maybe our potentials, maybe I wasn't clear enough, or maybe I'm ignoring what that person is telling you, right? Maybe I'm assuming they'll change, even though they tell you they don't like this, they don't want that, it's not them. And those are the situations where you have to go in and look at, you know what, is this relationship or marriage? Is this really what I want? Again, nothing is perfect. I tell people that all the time. I tell you that in my show episodes. I tell clients that nothing is perfect, but what is good enough for you? And part of this is looking at those potentials or those expectations, and you're assuming it's going to be one way, but your partner is assuming it should be a different way that's totally opposite of you. But you had so much potential. You get where I'm going with this, okay? And, in these situations, the potential is, I thought you would always take care of me in sickness and health, that type of situation, right? Or if I lost my job or I wanted to quit my job, that you'd be okay with it financially because I'm a woman or I'm a man, right? And you're like, what? Again, about that potential. I never want to take care of anybody financially, right? I don't expect someone to take care of me financially. But you look at these elements, and are you open to that? Are you talking about these? I thought if I wanted to quit my job, I can. Now, is that a potential okay for one gender versus another gender? You get me? Do you have certain potentials of what a man should be, what a woman should be? But are you open? Are you talking about it? So that's where I come on about the potentials. Are you even, being open and honest about those? Or are you afraid it's going to push somebody away? Or let's face it, like most of us do, we're assuming it's going to change, and it doesn't. And then we find ourselves, we're not happy, we're distant, we're miserable, we're maybe depressed, that type of situation. You need to be open and honest with each other and asking about what your expectations are, what your potentials are. And you keep hoping one day it's going to change, and it won't. And I look at whose responsibility is that, right? That can be on us if we're assuming one thing, right? We all know what assuming means, right? Making an ass out of you and me. We might assume it's going to get better or change, but are we even asking that person, our person, do they want the same things? And if they don't, let's face it, it's hard because you might not want to be alone. You might be guilty for breaking somebody's heart. There's all these dynamics coming into play. And again, it's not easy, okay? So think about this, right? If you are in a current relationship now, if you're married now, you can still talk about these elements, and it's not too late, especially for the single people out there, right? I see so much potential. Well, you need to ask that person, do they see the same potential in themselves? And number two, do they even want that same potential in them? They might not, okay? That type of situation. Maybe one person is used to just dressing in jeans, man or woman, and all of a sudden you want them to wear dresses or wear a suit all the time, and that's not them. You get me? But man, they would look so good in a suit or this type of dress. She would look great, right? And that's not them, right? That's not how they are, right? Maybe once in a while. And again, is that a big deal? That's not up to me to decide that. That's up to each individual, okay? So I want you to check out a couple, supporters of the show. Check out DFWN PLC. They're attorneys that can help you out. Flip the script. They're actually great people, okay? You can give Amy a call at 313-421-6069 or give Dan a call, 313-421-8083. They are honest. They're great people. And their numbers, everything is down below as well. And also check out IHatePeople.club for some hilarious t-shirts and just stickers and all kind of stuff. It's hilarious. And no, I do love people. It's not a contradiction in what I do. It's just something to make you laugh, okay? Check out my website, theartofrelationships.org. I appreciate everybody tuning in. And everybody have a great holiday weekend here in the States, Memorial Day weekend. And let's, thank our vets out there, past and current, veterans out there and people that have, sacrificed their lives for fighting for this country. Okay. Peace, everybody. Take care.